All right, so here we go. I am live now in the movie library. Welcome to the Call to Cinema. And I'm kind of wondering if this is going to be broken up into a couple parts. I started taking some Scream Factory stuff to to make this video. Probably not realizing exactly how much Scream Factory stuff I have, or maybe I'll just go over and do the second part from over there. So I wanted to start with the non-collector's editions first and get into the collector's editions. Now, that being said, you're probably going to want to understand that a lot of the movies that Scream Factory put out that they don't put the slipcase on, that they don't call collector's editions, have, hey Greg, welcome. You're the first one in here. They have like collector's edition level stuff on there. Hey, Scudder. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of insane. So I actually have a few Scream Factory DVDs, which I'll go through really quickly. I'll explain why, and then we'll go into the Blu-rays, the regular ones, the double features, that type of thing, and then we'll work into the collector's editions. As you can see, the collector's editions are still right over there behind me, along with the box sets. I've got a few. So last night, I've been trying to like save enough so like I can buy, even if I just buy one movie a week, I get something to unbox, something to talk about here. Hey, Danuch, man, welcome. So last night, hey, cat lover. Oh, dude, talk to you later. This one may be broken in a couple episodes anyway, so you might get the second one. So here we go. I have a large Scream Factory collection. Hey, Amherst, not as large as like a lot of people, but still a fairly decent one. So when I first started collecting Scream Factory, they're harder to find, and I collected a few on DVD before I went into like my, hey, greetings, before I got into my Blu-rays. So let's start with those, and we'll do these really quickly, then we'll get into the Blu-rays. Anything you have a question on, any movies you're kind of curious about, maybe you're looking at getting, stop me, ask it. If you want me to dive into a special feature, you want to ask about the film itself, always feel free to do so. That's going to be helpful here. So in the DVDs, the ones that I have to upgrade to Blu-ray, if it's still possible, because some Scream Factory has gone out of print. So always be aware that if you just started collecting Scream Factory, you should know that some of their early releases have gone out of print and are fetching quite the dollar right now. So if there's something that you're looking at and it's available, or if you see it in a store somewhere and you got the bones to get it, pick it up, because they do sometimes, people tend to miss out on certain ones. And I'll talk about a couple here that surprisingly went out of print and haven't come back since. So they fetch a bit of money on the market. I'm not a reseller. Like, you get some people that are, which is cool, that want to resell stuff, but not me. Welcome, Joseph. So first off is the collector's edition of Deadly Blessing. Your Vincent package. That's gonna be awesome. Extra 3, man. And Horror House. Deadly Blessing is a Wes Craven film, and it's one that I really, really like. I probably should have got the Blu-ray to this one, but yeah, I heard about the Furby sale. I'll talk about that one later, actually, because I want to get into that a little bit. This is the back of the case, and if this girl here kind of looks familiar, but you can't figure out exactly where she's from, and maybe you saw the movie Grease back in the day, so you probably remember her with a really tight ponytail, because that's Patty Simcox from the movie Grease. I'm not joking. That's the actress. You can look it up. Of course, there's some great, of course, the Sharon Stone early role for her, and we have the girl from Battlestar Galactica here as well. So really good movie. Even Wes Craven, I think, underrated this film. I go back to the well and watch this one quite a bit. So next up is one of their newer ones. I think this one, their IFC type releases, or I got this one actually at a video store when it was closing down, and you'll be able to tell that because there's a video store sticker on it. And that is Dead Shadows, which is, if I'm correct, it's a French film that I have seen the trailer for, but I have yet to watch. So this is the one that, I'll be honest with you, how much Scream Factories I have yet to see, which doesn't happen a lot, because I usually when I get a Scream Factory, this is a box set. Hey, Michelle, welcome. I'm doing Scream Factory, so this is going to take a while. Hope you're having a good weekend. I ordered a Scream Factory last night. See if you guys can guess what it is. It's one that's coming out on February the 11th. And it will be significant for this channel. Yeah, Greg got it right away. It is My Bloody Valentine. It's not April Fool's Day, not yet. No, that's one of my favorites. I live, again, in North Sydney, Nova Scotia, which is close to Sydney Mines. So now that I have the collector's edition of My Bloody Valentine coming, I'll be unboxing that one next week. And shortly thereafter, when I can get out to Sydney Mines, I'm going to be filming some footage of Valentine's Bluff as it is today. And you'll be able to see that here, exclusive on the channel. So if that's something you're interested in seeing if you're getting the My Bloody Valentine's movie and you're going to be watching it, and you're kind of curious to wonder what that's like. No, Greg, unfortunately that costs too much for me. I just went to Amazon and got the regular one. Now, the one where I got the DVD on purpose, and I'll get the Blu-ray for this one down the road, because there's I think there might be like a steelbook or something for this, but is The Howling. So I love The Howling, and I love this artwork. I actually looked at the art on the DVD, because obviously DVD is bigger, and I looked at the Blu-ray, and they had them both at HMV. Happy Saturday, Weldon. And I bought this because the artwork was bigger. That's the truth. I will upgrade this one, but I love the artwork on this one, so I wanted this as big as possible. And remember, anytime you got questions on any of these, you have the Steelbook. Steelbook has an extra feature, I think, Michelle. So yours is actually not only better in like the kind of in the Blu-ray aspect of it, but the Steelbook actually added an additional feature, at least one additional feature, onto it. One of my favorite features on this one, Michelle, is there's a is this one where they talk to the producer? Maybe. What's up? Well, right now, we're talking Scream Factory. Sinister. Of course, this is one of my least favorite covers from Scream Factory is the Funhouse. And I do take quite joy in the fact that I still have the original stickers on these. Hasn't peeled or anything, so that's kind of cool. You came at the right time. Next up is one that I bought. I don't even know if I've opened this one. Have I? Yeah, I've opened it. And I'm sure this is an IFC release, and that is The Monkey's Paw, which I haven't seen yet. The newer ones I don't watch a lot. So I'll go back to the old stuff. I'll watch those. I don't know. I got to give that Second Sight for the packaging alone. I'll give that. House of Blood will give Second Sight definitely the win on that one. Yeah, that's right. Kevin Conway died recently. We actually lost Orson Bean. If you're a fan of Twilight Zone or any of those shows, you'll probably remember the actor Orson Bean. He was hit by a car, I think, and passed away last night. Yeah, mine's supposed to ship today, actually. My Bloody Valentine. We'll get Evil Speak, don't worry. Psycho 2, because I saw this in theater. I love this. I'm a huge Richard Franklin fan. I almost bought Road Games, because Road Games has an amazing edition. We'll talk about that afterwards as well. Because I'll give you some of my Scream Factory wants as well, to kind of let you know some stuff that you might want to check into. Oh, it'll definitely come to slip. Most of the stuff, all the stuff I've seen them do, like since, has been like packaged with the slip. Like the slip will be over the, plastic will be over the slip type thing. Very rarely will I see anything come without a slip from, especially Scream Factory, in the last year or so from, and of course it's Psycho 3. Now let's get into the Blu-rays. Happy Saturday. I say that to my kids every day. I wake up every day to text my kids, and I say, I know, happy whatever day it is, Monday, Tuesday, whatever, love you, type of thing. That's my morning greeting to my kids. I do it every day. All right, here we go. So I'm going to take a handful. This is the best way to do this, I think. I'm going to put them back because I got these in alphabetical order. Just so you know, these Scream Factories are alphabetized. You're going to see probably some that aren't alphabetized well, but here we go. So first off is the, this one is collector's edition, but I didn't have the slipcover for it, so I guess that's why I just know. It's not about my collector's edition, that is Army of Darkness. This is a 3-disc edition, And when this originally came out, there were like 3 cuts of the film. I think there's 3, maybe even 4 cuts of the film. There's a theatrical version, director's cut, international cut, and I think there's another cut like snuck on here somewhere. But originally this had like, in one of the cuts, there was a scene where he's jumping over a fence or something like that, that was missing from the film. Now, it was in one of the other cuts of the film, but it was missing from one of the cuts of the film. And fans went nuts. They were like, how dare you censor that 2 seconds of the film? So that annoyed the hell out of me. And I got it right here. I don't know if I ever got the disc that corrected that, because I can watch, hey, happy to hear and ready. Welcome back, dude. We're doing Scream Factory, so you know Scream Factory. Yeah, there's a television cut on there as well. So there's like, yeah, there's 4. There's a theatrical, director's cut, international cut, and a television cut. Am I a fan of Parker Lewis Can't Lose? Good, you know, I'm a huge fan of Parker Lewis Can't Lose. I'm surprised anybody remembers that show. I was even a bigger fan, though, of one that lasted 1 season. It had Charlie Slater on it, called Ferris Bueller. It was based on the Ferris Bueller film. And because I grew up feeling very much like Ferris, so yeah. Next up is Eric Red's excellent werewolf film, Bad Moon. If you love werewolf films and you don't own Bad Moon, like, definitely pick it up. I know there's like a, oh yeah, and Reddy, you just missed that. I actually just pre-ordered it yesterday on Amazon, so it's supposed to arrive on Tuesday. I'll be doing a video, an unboxing of it, and I'm going to be going out with my iPhone, and then I'll be taping some pictures, some film of Valentine's Bluff, because I live there. So you'll be seeing some footage of what Valentine's Bluff looks like now. Do I have Terror Train? Yes, I do. We'll get to that one, actually. Yeah, the CGI transformation in this one is really, really bad. But it's like one sequence in the film. The rest of the werewolf, like the werewolf outfit, the way that Steve Johnson does the makeup of that in this film is amazing. It's an incredibly well-written story. And strongly, strongly recommend it. So I'm a big werewolf fan. I get that from my dad. He's a huge werewolf movie guy. I was a huge Paul Naschy fan. So we'll get to some Paul Naschy here as well, by the way, eventually. Next up is one that I watched. I'll be honest, I don't think I saw this one originally before I saw the Mystery Science Theater version of it. And I went and I looked for the original one later on. But that is The Brain That Wouldn't Die. This is not one that I saw as a kid. I was in Mystery Science Theater, you know, like, oh yeah, I can't believe Mystery Science Theater is riffing that. No, I discovered this through Mystery Science Theater. And what's neat is I think they got the MST3K version on here. And yeah, it does. So, and the MST3K version of this film is one of the best like episodes that they ever did. I think Mary Jo Felth, who would later on be one of the stars of Mystery Science Theater, actually plays the head. I could be wrong, in one of the the segments for Mystery Science Theater. It's actually a pretty fun movie. It's pretty cheesy. It's pretty bad. Bit of a sleazy, cheesy exploitation film. Beats the Magic Sword. My dad said that's awesome. Oh yeah, Brandon Windog, the Mystery Science Theater version is going to be the best version of it on there, in my opinion. Like, some people love the film, but I think it's one of those ones that works well with riffs. Next up is Candyman, Farewell to the Flesh, which again, I did like the sequel. Like, some people didn't. I was a big fan of it. Now, one of the big reasons beyond this was probably because I like the actor. I was a big fan of Kelly Rowan. And back then, Veronica Cartwright is in this movie. Good cast. I mean, what's that? Timothy Carhart, right? I hope I got that name, Carhart. I don't know if he did a lot afterwards. Next up is one of my favorites. And that's what Mystery Science Theater is good for, is letting you discover those like cheesy movies that kind of pass us by. Crawl Space. I love Crawl Space. I'm a huge Klaus Kinski fan. Man, oh man. He is insane in this film. And I mean that as a complete like compliment. Now, I have to mention this. I mention this every time I pick up this movie. There is a short film on this, and I'll watch it. Like, watch the short film, even before I watch the movie. There's a short film called Please Kill Mr. Kinski. He was a very hard person to work with. David Schmoller, who made the film. He did like a lot of work for Charles Band. I'm pretty sure he did Tourist Trap, actually. I think he did. Like directed this film. And there's like a short film basically talking about how the out of the crew behind the scenes. You watched Crossface last year? Did you watch that short film? Like really, really didn't get along with Kinski. They really hated him to the point where some of the crew were asking them to put a hit out on Kinski to get rid of Kinski. But yeah, he was a hard person to get along with apparently. Next up is one of the coolest later 80s action films, and that is Dark Angel. Now nowadays this would probably be a Shout Select because you have that label, but back then there was no Shout Select. So, but Dark Angel does fit in. It's kind of like a sci-fi film, actioner with a bit of horror. I guess sci-fi horror if we want to call it like that. But it's more sci-fi action. And I Come in Peace. See, that's what I saw it as, Michelle. I never knew the title Dark Angel on this film. When I heard it titled Dark Angel, I either thought of that TV series with Jessica Alba or that Full Moon film back in the day. But I never knew it under Dark Angel. So when they announced this movie and said Dark Angel's coming out, I had no idea until I saw the trailer. I'm like, oh wait, that's I Come in Peace. That's the movie I saw in theater. What's really neat about this film is like CGI will become more prevalent after this film. So when you watch this movie and you start seeing these explosions and they're like super dangerous, they actually are super dangerous. They're really running from actual explosions in this movie. It's one of the last times you would get to see like the effects really done like that before CGI would kind of take over. Let you sound scream. It was fun. When I saw it as I Come in Peace, I remember the trailer back in the day. I come in peace, you leave in pieces. So that was really, really cool. Next up is one of my favorite exploitation films of all time, and that is Deadly Eyes. I love this film. It is a killer rat movie. I make no bones about loving killer rat movies. You guys know I love these films. This one especially, I've talked about this one before. There's a sequence in this movie with a kid in a high chair. Pretty brutal. I'm gonna say that right now. Don't have to show anything with it, but it gets really brutal. Lisa Langoulis is in this. If you are a fan of exploitation films, like there's movies like Class of 1984, Deadly Eyes, The Nest. Lisa Langoulis is in all of those films. She's like she's an attractive blonde girl. If I remember correct, she's blonde, right? Yeah, I think she's blonde. And she's blonde in some films, anyway. She's great in Deadly Eyes. She was great in Class of 1984. That's when she really got to like kind of get a really big part in the film. Next up is Death Valley. Again, this is with the kid from Christmas Story, Peter Billingsley. Now it's a great suspenseful little film. Cast-wise on here, it's a great cast. We got Paul LeMat from, of course, Puppet Master. If you remember Puppet Master films. Catherine Hicks is in this. Stephen McHattie is in this one. Stephen McHattie is known for one, he's actually a pretty badass guy in real life, and two, some people confuse him with Lance Henriksen. I'm not joking. So this is Steve McHattie. I can kind of see it. I get where it comes from. But I've had people over the years that have, said, "Oh, that was Steve. I thought that was Lance Henriksen." No, it was Steve McHattie. And I guess wasn't he in Silence of the Lambs as well? Or am I getting him confused with somebody else? Okay. So next up is a double feature, and it was one of the more recent ones I got. I got it because I'd heard it was going to a print. I'm not sure if it's at a print now or not, but I think it's probably one that you can still get. Pontypool. That's right, he was in Pontypool. He was a star of Pontypool. I love that movie, actually. Nobody knows that movie. Well, somebody else knows that movie. Destroyer and Edge of Sandy. Now, I've watched Edge of Sandy since I got this. I've yet to watch Destroyer again with Lilo Zito. I remember Lilo Zito mostly from a Canadian like sitcom that came on back in the day called Learning the Ropes. And I actually started watching that because, well, I was a wrestling fan when I was a kid, and the girl from Degrassi Junior High left Degrassi Junior High to go on to Learning the Ropes. But this is a cool double feature. No real features on it, but to get both the movies here, and I love these films, so super cool. And again, they're all like, on one disc type of thing. There's no like alternate artwork for this. Some of these have alternate artwork. I haven't really gotten into that. I'll do that some other time. Unless there's one in particular. If you see one you're curious about and you want to know, stop me and ask. That's what I'm here for. Full Moon High, Larry Cohen. I'm a huge Larry Cohen fan. Rest in peace. we lost like 3 people this week. We lost like Kirk Douglas, we lost Diane Thorne, and we lost Orson Bean. So they say comes in threes. And we had the bad news about Shannon Doherty's cancer coming back at stage 4. What's this Full Moon High? I actually like this film. I love the artwork on this. It kind of reminds me of like cracked style artwork. Is it really? I haven't seen that yet. I'm watching Lock and Key later on today, I think. That's the one I'm really looking forward to. I'm a huge Lock and Key fan. Well, this is kind of like a comedy, like a werewolf film. Stars, what's it, Adam Arkin, right? Yeah, Adam Arkin in this one, and Roz Kelly. Ed McMahon, too, if anybody's old enough to remember who Ed McMahon is. He's in this one as well. Have I watched Uncut Gems? Not yet. There's a lot of movies I got to watch yet. So yeah, it's fun. It's cheesy. It's a bit ahead of its time. There weren't like a lot of these being done at the time, like the comedy horror types. My favorite comedy horror of all time is one called, and I don't own it, and it's a shame. It's called Student Bodies. I was really happy. I listened to the latest like Pure Cinema podcast. I listened to the latest like Just a List, and then I turned on Shockwaves. And Shockwaves, they actually talked about the movie, and they talked about it a lot too. They talked about Student Bodies. If you've never seen it, you got to see Shockwaves. Michelle, I'm sure you've seen Shockwaves, but if you haven't, you got to. It is such a cool film. Disturbed Behavior, again, really, really like this film. It's a 90s film. Scream Factory, I actually was down on the 90s for like a long time, and their horror output. Oh, dude, you got to see it. Click. Did you hang up? No, I just said click. You know, it don't make sense when you see the movie. Disturbed Behavior, again, Scream Factory made me reevaluate the horror of the 90s and made me realize how much good stuff actually came out that I just kind of like, that I watched, but I didn't really, not say give a chance, because I really did like Disturbed Behavior right from the beginning. That's one that I really enjoyed. From like the soundtrack to the film, which I thought was amazing. This one was a surprise for me. Like I'd seen it on back in the VHS days, but I never thought this was going to be a Scream Factory release. And to be honest, I bought it during a sale, and it was on for like $5, and I was like upping my Scream Factory stuff. It was during one of the early summer fears, back when the summer fear sales used to be really, really good, and that is Eve of Destruction. Actually, it's not a bad film with Gregor Hines. It's a fun little film, a fun little action sci-fi film, but it was never anything that I would have thought, okay, yeah, that screams Scream Factory. But no, it's like a cool little release, and I did enjoy it for what it is. Next up is an excellent film. Some people hate it. Logan Toxic hates this film. I know he does. He's told me that he hates this film. I actually love this film. I need to rewatch it too. Give it another chance. And that is Evil Speak. This is a Clint Howard film. Most people know Clint Howard. They think about Ice Cream Man, you know, the most lauded film. But this is amazing. This is like Carrie as a guy, but like in Carrie, there was a couple people that liked her or helped her out. Evil Speak, nobody likes this dude. Yes, nobody likes him. It's got an insanely great ending. It is a fun little film. Clint Howard, it was meant to play roles like this. He really was. And he does a great job. There's actually some decent features on here as well. You know, they interview a bunch of the cast. There's a director's commentary on here. If you've never seen Evil Speak, yeah, you definitely check it out. It's a fun little film. Oh, Adam, yeah, it's a good one. Next up is Final Exam. I remember Ticks. I don't have that one actually. Didn't like this movie on first watch. When I first saw this back in the day, I was into like the mystery slashers, the murder mystery thriller slashers, the Agatha Christie ones. But Final Exam doesn't take that route. It goes a different route. I actually really like Final Exam now. It's one of the ones that grew on me over the years. But on initial watching of this film, I was not a big fan. There is a thing that they do to get a guy out of a test at the beginning of this film, and already Evil Speak Love is great, that would not fly in today's society, that's for sure. fake a terrorist attack to get a guy out of an exam. I'm not joking. This is how final exam starts. Not sure final exam would be like so well liked today, but it's a fun film back then. Next one has a bit of a history behind it, and that is The Final Terror. This one I think was made like it was released I think 2 to 3 years after it was made. It was supposed to cash in on like the kind of like the. It wasn't really cashing in on the slasher genre because there's not a lot of kills in this movie. In actuality, the filmmakers, like the producers, had to go back and shoot an opening sequence with more people getting killed, so that they could up the body count on the film. It's got a great cast though. I mean, like a really great cast. I think Joe Pantoliano is in this one. Yeah, Mark Metcalf, Daryl Hannah, Adrian Zmed, who's famous, of course, from one of my favorite films, Grease 2. But again, I really like this one. Definitely give it a check out. This is one of the, like these are some of the earlier ones. These are ones that eventually you kind of wonder if they're going to go to print because you know they were the early stuff. How long does their licensing agreement last on some of the early films, and some of the MGM films? So I always kind of tend to look towards those. Angelina, right on. Well, fingers crossed. Next up is a great one. And what's really neat about this one, this is from Whisper to a Scream. It is done by Jeff Burr, who would make Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. This is one that he directed. There's actually, what's really neat about this, if you don't have this one, there's an amazingly well done, thank you, documentary on this one. And the documentary was so good, that was one of the first times I actually took the documentary on its own and I reviewed it on my channel. That was a ways back. I was surprised when the people that made the documentary actually commented on the video, and were very nice. Were very nice to me. That was a big thing back in the day. So from Whisper to a Scream, if you haven't seen this one, definitely check it out. It's one to pick up. Vincent Price is in this one, and Karen Mitchell, Susan Farrell, of course, she's amazing and everything. Clu Gallagher, Terry Kaiser, just an incredible cast. Definitely want to check out. From Whisper to a Scream is like the title that I know it under, but there's another title for the movie too. And no, wait, actually, the original title I know it under is Offerings. I think it was called Offerings. And if you've not seen the film, definitely check it out. Next up is another one that I do think, if you like ghost stories at all, then you got to own this movie. It's a must. It's a given, and it's got Alice Krige, who was recent in Gretel and Hansel, I think. She does a role in that film, but apparently not as big a role as people had hoped she would do. But this is Ghost Story. If you have never seen Ghost Story, it's based, kind of loosely based on the Peter Straub book, because if you've ever read the book Ghost Story, there's like a lot of stories and plot threads and all that going throughout it. Almost seems like, hey Steve, we're doing Scream Factory today. It almost seems like an unfilmable book, but they did it, and they did a good job. A great cast of both older and younger actors. Some actors that would be kind of their last films or one of their last films. Fred Astaire is in this one, Melvin Douglas, Douglas Fairbanks Jr., John Houseman. Of course, Craig Wasson, I guess, is famous for Body Double and Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. Patricia Neal and Alice Krige. So that's an amazing cast. If you've never seen Ghost Story, really, don't look up anything. It's a treat to go and watch Ghost Story. It's a really, really good film. Special effects are extremely good in it. There's a jump scare near the beginning of the film that got me when I was young. I was in the theater watching the film. It got me. Next up is one that I had thought I'd seen, but I hadn't. So when I got it, I was super stoked. And I'm pretty sure Diane Thorne has a small role. The Offspring. The Offspring is a good movie. From Whisper to Scream is a great title, though. Why'd you go with The Offspring here in North America? And that is Hellhole. So if you've never seen Hellhole, it's I think it's Judy Landers, right? Because one of the Landers sisters. Yeah, Judy Landers. This is a great cast. Diane Thorne is almost unrecognizable in her small role in this film. But there's a great cast. And I mean, there's the girl from Food the Gods, the Starcraft, Marjorie Gortner. There's Richard Cox. Terry Moore is in this one. Edie Williams is in this movie. Robert Z'Dar is in the film. Mary Warnoff. But the best actor in this movie is Ray Sharkey. Ray Sharkey is one of those actors. He was a great character actor. He did a few leading man roles, so he did movies like Rainkiller and stuff like that, but not enough. I mean, Ray Sharkey is one of those actors was really, really good. He was a chameleon of a guy when it came to his performances, and he's just incredible in this film. Next up is the classic Howling 2, done by Philip Mora, who would go on to do Howling 3, and who did a movie before called The Beast Within, which is probably the best Werewolf type film that he ever made. But this is mostly known for some pretty bad acting, Christopher Lee in some pretty horrible glasses, and of course, Sybil Danning, who was surprised when she went to the theater and saw that they took her one nude scene and showed it over and over again. Back in the day, when I was looking for this one, Enready found this one on DVD at a local store, and he sent it to me. So I actually have the MGM edition of this one as well. Thanks, Enready. This was called "My Sister's a Werewolf." Was one of the taglines for it. All right. Next up is Invaders from Mars, a really good film that, for some reason, nobody talks about. Tobe Hooper did this one. Tobe Hooper and again, Karen Black, Laureen Newman, Timothy Bottoms, Bud Cort, James Karen, Louise Fletcher. An amazing cast. You would think people would like really be discovering this one. It's one of those movies that I think, to this day, it was like a remake. It's never got discovered. Like even on here, even after they put it out here. Like I don't think this film has ever really gotten its due or ever really gotten discovered by like it should have. Speaking of really good ghost stories, by the way, Lady in White is an incredible film. If you haven't seen this one, again, one that I saw when I was young, kind of shook me a bit. Great film. Oh, dude, I don't forget the stuff in ready. But, you got Catherine Hellman in it. Alex Rocco's in this one here. Lucas Haas, of course. If you've never seen Lady in White, and this is kind of a haunting image right there. Kind of gives you an idea of the feel of the film. I actually really like Lady in White. Leviathan, I'll be honest, Leviathan, although I do like the film, I bought it originally because, again, it was a cheap one during one of those summer fear sales, early summer fear sales. Like the cover, but it has a great cast. When you're speaking of movies with really good casts, I do like underwater movies, so I'm a sucker for those. This one stars Peter Weller from RoboCop fame, of course. Richard Crenna from Rambo's in this one. Amanda Page from The Flash, original Flash guys from the 90s. There's like Daniel Stern is in this movie here, who did everything from Home Alone to Chud. Chud's a really good one. Ernie Hudson's in this one from Ghostbusters. There's an incredible cast. Hector Elizondo is in this film. Next up's a really cool one. It's a Hammer film. It doesn't get a lot of love. It's a Jimmy Sangster one of the later Hammer films, vampire films, Lust for a Vampire. For the longest time, this was the hardest one to find. It has a Christopher Lee kind of lookalike, played by Mike Raven, who was a radio personality. He was actually really into the occult. He had like a huge library of occult books, and he lived the life basically. Maybe Leviathan's big in Germany Sculptor. Probably not one of the best like drawn covers they ever did, but still, I really enjoyed it. I will share the alternate artwork for this one. It's better than the alternate artwork, the original artwork. Look at that. Oh, why did that not work? Who the hell thought that poster was going to sell it? There we go, right there. Lust for a Vampire. Again, another one that I love. Next up is Monkey Shines. I can't tell you why Monkey Shines is like... I love this George Romero film. It's fun. It's cheesy. There's a certain part of Monkey Shines. I can't get into it. Even though my video is not marked for children, there's a certain thing in that happens in Monkey Shines that made me remember it. Again, yeah, like this is definitely a well-cast film. And yes, I still have the original sticker. I just put it down the back. I took it off my... By the way, great documentary, great making of documentary, Monkey Shines. Next up's a film that's bafflingly fun, even though maybe it shouldn't be. And that is New Year's Evil, where a serial killer goes around trying to kill people at New Year's Eve, when it strikes New Year, in every time zone. I know that sounds nuts, but I recommend checking this out. It's a fun film. This one has, I'm pretty sure it's got Ross Kelly too. And yeah, Ross Kelly, and for those, I've said the name Ross Kelly in a film there previously. If that name kind of sounds familiar, and maybe you're, maybe not my age, but at least, a little bit younger, Happy Days. She was Pinky Tuscadero on Happy Days. But this film here, I love it. It's one of those films where the killer is pretty inept at what he does. He's not exactly a killer that like is really good. But love the film. So, Nightbreed, the director's cut. Evil. If you ever get a chance to get it, Scholar, definitely check it out. This is the director's cut of Nightbreed. Again, a movie I really love. But me talking about Scream Factory and Nightbreed actually got me a ton of views, even though I changed my views on what I said at the time. But yeah, shame on you, Scream Factory. That's still one of my most viewed videos, actually. But which is a shame, because I probably Scream Factory only saw that one and didn't realize, I kind of like their stuff. But I do love this film. Clive Barker, fantastic, and of course David Cronenberg is incredible in this film. Maybe it'll come up again, or come up somewhere, it'll pop up. Just keep an eye out for it. Nightmares. This is one I remember from my days in Alberta. Really fun film. I like this one a lot. There's like a car type sequence. There's the classic, kind of like with Christina Rains, basically the escape killer going to get a pack of cigarettes type of thing. Really good one. Veronica Cartwright is in like the kind of the story that a lot of people remember, the rat story. Emilio Estevez is the video game story, the one that everybody kind of remembers. The big, what's it called again? The Bishop of Battle. And of course, Lance Henriksen is in the kind of killer car story. He plays, I think, an ex-priest. Told you guys there's a lot of these. So I'm wondering if I should break this up in 2 videos, because I still got my collector's editions and that for the win. Ninja 3: The Domination. They re-put this one out actually with more features, so apparently in a different print. But I can't do it. I can't buy a second Ninja: The Domination. I just can't do it. It's a good film, and I really liked it. I'm a big fan of Lucinda Dickey. She was like one of the big people when Canon Films were making movies. You go watch Breakin', that's Lucinda Dickey. There's a ton of movies that Lucinda Dickey was in, actually. So she was the go-to for them. Only a ninja can kill a ninja. Classic line. Shokazuji's in this one as well. It's part of the ninja series. Shokazuji kind of like made ninjas famous back in the day. Next up is Nomads. Pierce Brosnan film. It's an okay film. I mean, it's the cover creeped me out. It's not as creepy as the cover. I'll let you know that right now. But I did enjoy the film. It's definitely got a decent cast in it. Adam Mantz in the film. You got a lot of Eureka stuff, huh? Definitely worth it. Kind of fun, worth checking. Look how creepy that cover is. The movie never gets that creepy, by the way. This one's a classic. You guys know I like Kinski. I'm a huge Herzog fan, so Nosferatu, the Vampire. I was hoping that one day they put Nosferatu in Venice as well, but I haven't seen them put that one out yet. Oh, really? Does it? Of all the Scream Factory videos that pop up. Yeah, I'm still waiting for them to put a Nosferatu in Venice. I wonder if is there like an issue with that? Is it a different company? Love this movie. Missed opportunities. I'm a huge Joe Sholin fan. Broke my heart a bit when I picked up the movie Cutting Class, and there was an interview with Joe Sholin, and she really didn't like the movie. Or give much credit to it. and this is the Phantom of the Opera. Uh, did you? I got to rewatch it. I haven't watched it since I saw it back in the day. I bought it, but I still haven't rewatched it. That's one of the ones that I got that I haven't watched yet because I wasn't big into it back in the day. Maybe I like it more now. Phantom of the Opera was meant to be a 2-film series. If you've seen this film, you're going to notice that there's like a kind of a forward part, like in present day at the time, and then it goes back to past times. So Robert Englund plays the Phantom, the titular Phantom Eric in this one as well, and Joe Sholin is of course I think Christine, right? Yes, still Christine. Yeah. Bill Nighy is in this one. Alex Hyde White's in this film. Molly Shannon actually. Terrence Harvey. Directed by Dwight Little, of course, who did like Halloween 4, one of my favorite Halloween sequels. So there were supposed to be 2. It was supposed to be Phantom of the Opera, and it was supposed to be followed up by a sequel called Phantom of New York. Unfortunately, this movie came out at a time when the musical Phantom of the Opera was extremely popular. Because of that, people went into Phantom of the Opera expecting a different thing, and instead they got this kind of slashery film, Phantom of the Opera, and that like turned off actually some people that were going to see the film. And it didn't do that well at the box office. Next up is Prison, with an early role from Viggo Mortensen. Again, love this movie. I think this is the movie that got Kane Hodder Friday the 13th. I think that he liked his Jason role because he acted in this one, and Rennie Harlan directed this one. I'm pretty sure the effects were done by the director of Friday the 13th. Part 7, and that's the reason that he got chose for this. So again, really cool film. A great cast. Lane Smith the late Lane Smith is in this one as well. And he used to be on a series called Lois and Clark, where he played Perry White. It's still my favorite Perry White of all time. Next up is Psycho 4: The Beginning. Now what's neat about this one is that early on, when the other Psycho films came out, they asked Cliff if he would put out Psycho 4. And he said, no, Psycho 4 is crap. It's just a TV movie. We're not going to do it. Psycho 4 is not going to come out by us. Scream Factory is not going to do it. So here's Scream Factory, Psycho 4, The Beginning. Obviously, they changed their mind somewhere along the way. A commentary with Mick Garris, Olivia Hussey, and Henry Thomas on here. Behind the scenes footage. I actually really, really like Psycho 4. It kind of gets the blueprint for what would later become Bates Motel, the TV series, in here, and a great ending for Anthony Perkins' character of Norman Bates as well. He does a great job in the film, and Olivia Hussey, I thought was really good as a mom. Speaking of Psycho movies, I had to have it. Chef Factory put out a Psycho Legacy documentary back in the day, and it was done by Rob Galuzza, who from Shockwaves. He also does a monthly thing with Brian Sauer on Just the Disc, where they kind of like do their picks of the month type of thing. So Rob Galuzza is probably one of the biggest Psycho fans in the world of the franchise, and he did the documentary Psycho Legacy. So which I recommend if you get a chance to check it out. Please check it out. It was an early one, doing the horror documentaries of films before horror documentaries of films were really being done. It kind of gets passed by a lot of people. People think about like Never Sleep Again. They'll remember the Crystal Lake Memories, but nobody remembers Psycho Legacy. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. And this is Gus Van Sant's Psycho. Basically, it's an art film project, is what it is, done on a big budget scale. Does it have to be? No. As a fan of film, I admire the fact that he did it, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work really well. But I still admire the fact that he tried to do it, and it's interesting, just to say the least. Rob Galuzza actually is on the commentary here with the editor of the film, and definitely recommend you check this out. I know it's cheesy, I know it's bad, but give it a rewatch and listen to the commentary. Rob Galuzza does a great commentary. Galuzza is really good when it comes to this type of stuff, and like mad props. Australian Psycho set. Oh, did you really? So, oh yeah, it's right. You've met Rob. Next time, Michelle, you see Rob, let him know I'm a huge fan of the documentary, of the Psycho Legacy documentary that he made, because I have a feeling he does not get enough credit for that. And, like, in all seriousness, we always talk about the other big documentaries and stuff like that, but because it's not like 5 hours long, nobody talks about Psycho Legacy. It's one of the first ones I got in my collection when I started collecting documentaries. There's a documentary video coming up, by the way. So yeah, let him, if you talk to him, let him know. There's a lot of love for Psycho Legacy that he's probably not aware of, and his commentary on Psycho, the Gus Van Sant, Pumpkinhead 2, Blood Wings. I really love that. Some people hate this film because the stunt casting, because it's more of a happier ending than the original Pumpkinhead, but I do. I really enjoy this film. It's got a great cast. Steve Canale from Dallas is on this one here. Ray Krebs. Amy Dolan's, daughter Mickey Dolan. She was kind of an actress in the 80s back in the day. Andrew Robinson from Hellraiser, and of course from Dirty Harry. We got her, Linnea Quigley's in this one. I forgot she was in this movie, actually. Roger Clinton, Bill Clinton's brother. Karen Kay, and Punky Brewster herself, Soleil Moon Frye. Hey Dave, welcome, man. Soleil Moon Frye is in this. I had a huge crush on Soleil Moon Frye when she got older. I remember when she did like the People magazine article. I'm gonna move some of the stuff over, so if you don't mind waiting for a second, we got a lot more to do here, but I want to get this here over so that I can actually move and actually talk about the stuff a little bit better. So we're gonna just take 1 second. Blood Feud? Is that the fourth or the third one? Third, fourth one. All right. Let's do this right. All right. Let's get into some of the other stuff. Blood Wings. Was there a Blood Feud? Because there's 4 of them, right? There's like 4. And move this over because if I don't, some stuff's going to slip down the crack of this. All right, still can do it. Okay, so next up is Scream for Help. I really enjoyed this one. This is one that I never thought Scream Factory or anybody would put out. It's a film that I remember really well. I remember it from its VHS days. But from the Courier Death Wish, is it really? Yeah, Michael Winner. So Michael Winner directed this. And I really did enjoy this film. Kind of a fun little one. I actually kept getting it confused. I thought Joe Sholin was in this film for years. I thought, oh, that's Joe Sholin's film. But it wasn't. But yeah, definitely check it out. Somebody else loves it. There's more love for Scream for Help. All right. Next up is... yeah, I'm going to say it like that. Don't say it, hiss it. Fun snake film. I enjoyed it. Dirk Benedict, I think, is in this one here, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Not a lot to say. Just a fun little like snake film. Stigmata, again, is another 90s horror. Gabrielle Byrne's in this one. Gabrielle Byrne's a big actor back then. Not sure what happened to Gabrielle Byrne. Does he still do stuff? Maybe he's got a TV show or something that I'm not aware of. Jonathan Pryce, Patricia Arquette. Man, what a cast. Really cool film. There's an interesting kind of featurette on here actually talking about actual stigmatas. So that's actually pretty cool as well. If you're a fan of horror and a religious iconography horror, that type of thing, you're probably going to enjoy Stigmata. He was in Hereditary. Oh yeah. Okay, sorry. Supernova. Again, this is one that I bought for fairly cheap. It's actually a fun film. Great cast again. We're talking Angela Bassett, James Spader, Robert Forster, Lou Diamond Phillips, Peter Facinelli. Facinelli, is that right? Robin Tooney is in this one, of course, from The Craft. Decent film. I feel like there's a bit of a missed opportunity in Supernova. I feel like there's more that they could have done with it that they didn't do. That maybe just me, but I feel like there could have been. There's a bit more they could have done. Next up is Swamp Thing. Great film. I really like the Swamp Thing. I like Return of Swamp Thing maybe a little bit more. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is not the international cut. This is the original theatrical cut of the film. But there's some cool features on here. You can buy the international cut through 88 Films, by the way. I do recommend getting them both because I do like this. There's some great interviews, outer commentary, and I love this cover as well. Did they do an alternate artwork for this one? I don't think they did. No, they just had pictures from Swamp Thing. I saw Swamp Thing in theater back in the day, and I really enjoyed that. So here we go. The Beast Within, Philip Morris' good werewolf film. This freaked me out. There's the sequence in the, when he turns, with the eyes and stuff, it creeped me out when I was a kid. It's a good film, great cast. You got BB Bish is in this one, Ronnie Cox, R.J. Armstrong, L.Q. Jones. Hey, Dungeon, welcome, man. Oh, yeah. Now, warning alert. The Beast Within, the premise of the film is that the lead's mother in the film is attacked and assaulted, sexually assaulted at the beginning of the film, which is how we get the Beast Within. So if know that going in, if that's something that's going to bother you, there's a sequence at the beginning of the film. So just a heads up for that type of stuff. If I can think of a scene that is kind of like a disturbing scene or even like an animal scene, I'll always try to give a heads up ahead of time that way, because I think it's the right thing to do. The Crush, Alicia Silverstone, definitely a star-making role. She is amazing in this movie. She was underage too at the time. She was I think she's 16, so she was the age of the character. They were amazed at how good of an actress she was. The guy that did this film, Alan Shapiro, he actually wrote it too. He lived this basically. This was kind of this is kind of loosely based on an actual thing from him. Me too, Michelle. And it's a great cast. People talk about Cary Elwes and say oh, he's not a great actor. I think he's good. I think he's really good. There's Jennifer Rubin, of course, who was in, I guess, famous from Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and Bad Dreams too. She's in this. She's the girlfriend in this one here. Kurtwood Smith, I guess, most famous for that '70s show Today, but for me, he's a guy in the movie RoboCop. But definitely does a great job in this movie as the dad. There's some great set pieces in here as well. And you saw Crush in theaters. I think I did too, actually. I really like this one. Good music, some great. Some interviews with Kurtwood Smith and Jennifer Rubin's. Jennifer Rubin still looks amazing, by the way. Oh, he killed it in RoboCop. The Dark Half. I actually love this film. I do. I really do like this film. It's one of the ones where Michael Rooker actually plays a good guy. I actually still have the sticker right in the back there. And the thing is that they had to fight hard to get Michael Rooker as the good guy in this one, as because he's a cop. But at the end of the documentary, on this film, it is definitely underrated, Joseph. I 110% agree with that one. The documentary on this film is incredible. They put out two at the same time, put out Monkey Shines and The Dark Half. Just so you know, guys, if you haven't picked either one of them up yet, they're both really good releases, and they both have amazing behind-the-scenes documentaries on there, making ofs. And you hear a lot of kind of cool, new and interesting stuff when they're talking about the films. It's fascinating, actually, and I got to give them credit. They do some amazing documentary work on here. Definitely check out The Dark Half. Next up is The Guardian, which I didn't like back in the day. It really took me a while to kind of get into this one. It's a Friedkin film. I'm a Friedkin. I like Friedkin. This was different than what I expected from it. Carrie Lowell is in this movie. She's gorgeous. Jenny Seagrave is in. What's her name again? Yeah, Jenny Seagrave is in this one as well. And who plays the guy? Do I know the actor? Yeah. Dwyer Brown. Doesn't really ring any bells right now, actually. But again, I grew to like this one more over the years, but I actually really didn't like this one originally. When I first saw it, I was kind of bored with The Guardian. Next up is The Horror Show. Now, this is otherwise known as House 3, and I have this one actually on in my house collection, my Arrow House collection. When did Friedrich do The Guardian? I think it was like late 80s, early 90s. 1990, actually, right on there. Right on 1990, yeah. Definitely worth a watch. Not one of his best films, to be honest with you. I'll be blunt, I'll be honest. The Horror Show. Great, great little film. I really enjoyed this one. It's like Elm Street if they hadn't put in a twist ending at the end of it, let it be a happy ending. There's similarities between this movie and the movie Shocker. What makes this movie work is the cast actually, because we get like Lance Henriksen starring in this one, and Brian James like he commits to the role of what's Max Chinky, right? Yeah, Max Chinky. They autocorrect, man. I understand, but he makes it. Speaking of films that I think are incredibly well done, there, The House That Drew Blood. I love this movie. It is an Amicus release. What a cast too. How many movies have we got with great cast? Eh? Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing. We got John Pertwee in this film, Doctor Number 3. Joss Eklund, of course, Ingrid Pitt, who, ta-da. I notice every time I do like a Doctor Who video, it kind of like, it's harder to get views on those videos, which is a shame actually. Because there's a point, you guys don't know this, but there's a point behind the scenes that I had planned to just switch up my channels from 3 or 4 years ago. I thought maybe I'll just do a Doctor Who type channel. And I changed my mind because like people kind of tend to see horror with me. So that's what I went with. The Legacy. I freaking love this movie. Yeah, screenplay by Jimmy Sangster, who was a Hammer guy. Catherine Ross, Sam Elliott, early role by Sam Elliott, of course. Earlier role by Sam Elliott. If you've never seen this movie, Roger Daltrey's in this one. Great film. I mean, I forgot how good this film was. Which one? Unfortunately, no, Doctor Who for me did not bring the masses. I got about like 150, 160 on my Doctor Who series 26 unboxing. Well, if you want the classic stuff, go with the Fourth Doctor, Hinchcliffe Holmes type thing. If you want to just start from like want to watch the new stuff, start with the 2006 Christopher Eccleston era and go from there. Blink, watch Blink. That's a really good episode. Got to get the indicator version. I didn't get the indicator version. I missed out on that. But The Legacy, great film, really underrated. I don't know why people don't talk about this one enough because it's a fun film. Yeah, Roger Daltrey does a good job in that movie. Not a large part, but it's definitely an important part. The kills in the movie are actually really good. The Legend of Hell House. I don't think that, again, when you're talking about ghost stories, this is one you gotta have. Is it well cast? It's got Pamela Franklin, Roddy McDowall, Clive Revel, and Gail Honeycutt. So yeah, it's a really well done film. If you're a fan of those actors, you're a fan of like ghost stories, you gotta have the house. You gotta have that one, Legend of Hell House. Next up is The Nest. Now here's a hard one for me to watch. The Nest is a movie about like killer cockroaches and stuff. I've got a phobia of insects, which I'm trying to work through right now. You love The Nest, but Lisa Langolis stars in this one, and with Robert Lansing. So you want to see Lisa Langolis? So she's right here. She was like a Canadian's horror scream queen. So it makes it makes it a bit of a hard watch. This one This is one that I don't think enough people have. And there's a really good interview with Morgan Fairchild on here, so you know what the movie is by now. Great performance by Andrew Stevens on here as well. Michael Sarrazin's in the film. He does a good job. It's kind of wasted. Vince Edwards, again, really good in this movie as well. The Seduction. People, for some reason, tended to pass this one up. And I don't know why. It's got a great performance by Morgan Fairchild. One of the early films talking about stalking, and that like to really get into the stalking aspect of it and see it from kind of both sides. But it's definitely like a really good film. If you're a fan of Morgan Fairchild and you want to see some Morgan Fairchild, my wife Morgan Fairchild, some people get that reference. Then definitely watch The Seduction. It's a really good film too. Here's one that I haven't seen for like a long time, and I haven't watched it since I got it. Like people ask me if I watched all my films. Obviously not, but I try to. But the thing is, I go to certain ones over and over again, and then I get new things, and I get like interested in those. Maybe when I go into semi-retirement, I get to watch a bit more films. But right now, I'm still working here in Nova Scotia, so not till then. I love it. Yeah, there, don't you? You know, You'll Like My Mother, a thriller. This has Richard Thomas in it, Patty Duke. I thought this was. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure. I thought this was a TV movie. You guys can let me know if I'm incorrect on that one. I was pretty sure this was actually a TV film. Ford at Columbia. That's gonna be a good set. But I thought this was a TV film. If anybody knows for sure, they can let me know. Next up is The Return of Count Yorga, which I think is a great film. I love the Count Yorga films. I have Count Yorga from Twilight Time, actually. I think Twilight Time put out. But this is the sequel, Return of Count Yorga. There's an Arrow set that put out both of the films, so if you want to check that out. I actually love this cover. It's kind of so mod and cool and hip. Hip, like all the young kids say. But again, there's not a commentary, not a lot of features on here. I do kind of want to get the Arrow edition on the road because there's more features on the Arrow edition than on either the Scream Factory or the Twilight Time edition. So during one of the sales, when it goes on cheap, I'll grab the complete Count Yorga from them as well, just to have those extra features, actually. I might even just buy the DVD just for that, I'm not quite sure. But again, I like this. This kind of helped. The Count Yorga films kind of ushered in a change in what was being done at the time. Hammer was doing like a lot of horror, but like they were doing a lot of like the gothic horror. And the popularity of the Count Yorga films and like films like that were coming around. So, and then, Night of the Living Dead. So they started to like upgrade and modernize their films, put like more nudity in them. They tried to upgrade the vampire films and put them into like 80/72, Satanic Rites, that type of thing. Didn't quite totally work out, but that was kind of like one of the starts of it. So you can thank or hate Robert Quarry's Count Yorga films for that, actually. Next up is The Town That Dreaded Sundown, which is a movie I like a lot. I'm not, this, don't kill me. I do kind of really like the reboot, remake, reimagining, sequel, whatever you want to call it, The Town That Dreaded Sundown, just as much as this one, actually, to be totally honest with you. This is a good film. It's totally imbalanced. And that's one thing that the remake, whatever it has, sequel, whatever you want to call it, has that over this one is that they balance the tone well. They don't balance the tone well in this one, and I'm going to get that at actually. That the sequel, well, the other film on here, The Evictors. That's why I bought this movie. Like as much as I like The Town That Dreaded Sundown, I freaking love The Evictors. I do have to upgrade that one to a Blu-ray soon, because they put it on the I think they put it on the DVD. They put like Michael Parks, is in The Evictors. No, they put it on the Blu-ray too. No, they didn't actually. It was only on DVD. So I got to get The Evictors Blu-ray down the road. It was a really cool film. The thing is, like, I watched this one with my cousin back in the day, and we both were. It was one of those nights we watched it late at night. And it was like based on a true story. I'm not gonna lie, it creeped us out at the time. Kind of silly now, but it actually did. But good one. You get an extra film there, and if you like The Evictors enough, maybe pick it up on Blu-ray down the road. This one was a Scream Factory exclusive. They had a few films back in the day that were exclusive to the website. I don't know if they still do that or not. I know they still do like posters and NECA figures and stuff, but they used to have like movies, Blu-rays that were exclusive to the website and that you wouldn't see in stores. You'd have to buy them on the site. Often they were ones that were originally like parts of like 4-packs or stuff like that, and or double features that went and did a Blu-ray transfer for them, but it put like featurettes on. So this is Up from the Depths. This was one of the ones that was a exclusive. Not sure if it's still available or if this is one of the ones that sold out actually, but I'm a sucker for, if you know who Rebecca McHenry is, from like Shockwaves or from back when she worked with Fangoria and stuff. I think she works with New Fangoria too. Like her, I'm a huge sucker for underwater movies, like monster movies and stuff like that. I got to see them. Hey, Crops, you got something there for. So welcome, Crops. Is this one? Yeah, this is one of the Corman ones. I think. I think this is the Corman one. Is it? Yeah, Roger Corman. But obviously one of the ones that Vampire Lovers. This one here was one of the cheapest Scream Factories ever bought. Back in the day, at HMV, this was like $12 or $14 maximum, like on release date. For some reason, this was always one of the cheaper ones. This is a Hammer film. This is before Scream Factory started doing their Hammer Films collector's editions that they're doing now, like the bunch of Hammer films. You're seeing them go through, and people are like eating them up like crazy. This is the OG Hammer film from Scream Factory. Really cool edition, actually. This is an MGM release. Some great features that were ported over from the MGM one, but really, really cool. I actually really enjoyed this. You got all the same features if you got the double feature, I think, because I think they didn't make any new features for it. I think they just ported over the originals. So if you got the double feature with Countess Dracula on it, then I'm pretty sure that one that has those features as well. But here's a movie that is not a collector's edition, but there's so much on this that it should have been a collector's edition. And it's got the lovely Tawny Kitaen in here, and Stephen Nichols from, of course, Days of Our Lives, where he plays Steve, and now, sort of, Stefano. Some people find that, are kind of upset about that. I think that's utterly fabulous. But it is a Witchboard. Witchboard as the gorgeous Tawny Kitaen, who was, at that point, was probably famous mostly for the Whitesnake videos. But it's got one of the great bromances on it all time. Michelle, if you like Witchboard, you know what I'm talking about. This is it's not a romance film. Like there's a romance in it, but no, there's a bromance. There's a cool ass bromance between Steve Nichols and Todd Allen in this film. There is a lot of great features on here. There's 2 audio commentaries, interviews with a bunch of the actors on here. Making of. Yep, that's the same director as Night of the Demons. That's Kevin Tenney. You got that one right, Zombies. Definitely one that everybody should have. Witchboard. Bromance. I'm not even joking. There's really kind of a cool bromance in it. Without Warning, or it came from Without Warning. I use the alternate artwork because I actually like it. So this is a cool little film. I actually love it. Got a great cast too. Jack Palance, Martin Landau. You got Cameron Mitchell in here. Neville Brand. I'm a huge Neville Brand fan. That's why Eaten Alive, that Tobe Hooper film, is still one of my favorite movies. Ralph Meeker is in here, and you guys know I love Ralph Meeker because, of course, Kiss Me Deadly. But a great cast with some great older actors in here. It's just a fun, cheesy sci-fi horror film with some cool little effects. Definitely worth checking out. Getting into double features here now. So first off is Bad Dreams, Visiting Hours. Again, Jennifer Rubin, and and of course the classic Visiting Hours. I had the original Shout Factory double feature. This one here. Gotta love Michael Ironside, man. And they upgraded this one with new features as well. There was no features on Visiting Hours at all. It was there was totally nothing. But they put an interview with the screenwriter on there, and that was enough for me to get this one. Michael Ironside kills it. Like, us Canadians rock. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Bad Dreams is a really cool film with Richard Lynch, Jennifer Rubin, Craig Wasson. I think is in this one. Is what I think he is. No, he's not. Like Bruce Abbott. Why did I say? Okay, but Visiting Hours has a great Michael Ironside in an incredible role where he plays this misogynistic killer, like kind of chasing after a journalist played by Lee Grant, I think. Right? Yeah, Lee Grant. Linda Pearl, who I was totally in love with back then. She had been on Happy Days. She would go on to be in Matlock as well, playing his daughter for the first season. And Wim Shatner is in this movie as well, the Shant, so gotta love it. You can't not love the Shant. That's horrible. I had to say that though. I'm such a dad. Next up is a double feature of blaxploitation goodness. It is Blackula and Scream, Blackula, Scream. I love Blackula. I like Scream, Blackula, Scream. Not a great film, but a good film. Pam Grier's in it, which, puts it in cult status right away. But I did enjoy the Blackula films. They were cool. And of course, Blackula's extra cool because it's got a Canadian, actually not just a Canadian actor, a Newfoundland actor by the name of Gordon Pinson. If you don't know who that is, find out for real. Blackula was a really cool little film. I showed you what a racist Dracula was, man. Dracula, you racist. It's cool. And actually, that's the premise of the film, basically, is that Blackula is this, like, kind of like this, what's it, like Prince or something like that. And he goes over to talk to Dracula about, like, kind of freeing people. And Dracula is like no, you're better as slave. I will curse you. I will make you Blackula. Yeah, but actually, it's a really cool film. Ghost House and Witchery. These are two of the La Casa films. Look up the La Casa saga. I've talked about this a few times on my channel. Yeah, actually, 71 minutes here, Alan. Ghost House and Witchery, amazing, fun. Ghost House freaked me out when I was younger. That scared the crap out of me. The music. Hey, Daz, welcome, man. Witchery is fun. Witchery is a really fun film. Linda Blair's in this one. We got David Hasselhoff, the Hoffs is in this one. Hoff's in this one here. We got like a really cool cast. Love these films, but Ghost House scares me to this day. Scares the crap out of me. That clown. Hate those clowns, man. Next up is Ghoulies and Ghoulies 2. I love the Ghoulies films. Ghoulies is not at all what you think it's going to be from looking at this. You think you're going to get the monsters all the time. You don't. Actually, it's a cult type of film. The Ghoulies don't really become super prominent in the film. I'm glad you liked Angel. I knew you'd like Angel, man. See, I told you. Ghoulies 2 is when it really becomes like the Ghoulies, Monsters, Gremlins type rip-off type of thing. First film, not so much. First film does have an early role by Mariska Hargitay, though, if you're a fan of Law & Order SVU. And she looks, of course, gorgeous in it. She looks gorgeous in everything. She still looks gorgeous. I love Mariska Hargitay. Gotta move this stuff over a bit. We got Urban Legends Final Cut. I like the sequel. There's not a lot of Urban Legends stuff in it, except for like the kind of like the kidney thing at the beginning of the film. Get Ghoulies confused with Gremlins. When you watch them both, you won't, because there's lots of Gremlins and Gremlins. There's Ghoulies, a lot of like black magic and stuff like that. Urban Legend Final Cut, fun film, great cast. Hart Bachner's in this one, again, another Canadian actor. Joseph Lawrence, Anthony Anderson's in this one here. We got Jennifer Morrison, Loretta Devine. She was the one carryover from the first film. But actually, I liked it. It was a fun film. Not as good as the original, but I enjoy it. Next up is X-Ray and Schizoid. I actually love both of these films. Actually, wait a minute. This should not be next up. That should be last up. I'm moving you over. It's X-Ray and Schizoid. But anyway, we talk about X-Ray and Schizoid. Good movies. Great films, actually. But unfortunately, because of the greatness of the quality of Blu-ray technology, you find out who the killer is and skits out before you're supposed to, because it's just you just see his face. All right, you're not supposed to see his face. Scanners 2 and Scanners 3. Again, really fun film. Scanners 3, I like. Scanners 2 is better. But again, hey, welcome, dude. Babby Herman. But again, some fun stuff. There's no features on this one here. I think this was one of the ones that for some reason was only available in the United States, so I had to go another way to get this one. I thought it was okay. I mean, like, they're straight to DVD movies, Greg, done by Pierre David, who is he's kind of like a Roger Corman type guy for Canada. Did I like the first Scanners? I did like the first Scanners. A lot of people don't. Stuff like a lot of people don't like the first Scanners, but I really enjoyed it. And of course, it had like one of my favorite actors in it, who is he did the big scene. His head exploded in it. Is Louis de Grande, who was a writer actor. Is famous here in Canada for things like creating Shoko, King of Kensington, where he was the head writer on, and being and starring in a show called Seeing Things, which if you're Canadian, that's going to be like going to give you all sorts of like warm, fuzzy feelings right now. Next up is Slumber Party Massacre 2 and 3. Remember when I said there were Scream Factory titles that went out of print that you wouldn't expect to go to print? This is one of the ones I'm holding right now. Slumber Party Massacre series was one of my favorite series. I love these. All three of these movies are fun. There's actually kind of a fourth one. Did I see Linda Blair Dale last? I probably did actually. I don't remember right now though. But Slumber Party Massacre 2 and 3. Oh, you know, Saying Things Dungeon. Love this here. There's a great like full length documentary on here, on this one talking about the whole Slumber Party Massacre trilogy. Really enjoy these. I enjoy the third one. A lot of people don't, but I thought the third one was really good. Kind of like return to form. It's a mystery slasher. When you watch the third one over, and you realize why he's doing it, kind of heartbreaking. But I truly enjoyed it. Next up is Tales from the Crypt and Vault of Horror, which were two Amicus films. Great release for these, by the way. There's an open mat of Vault of Horror here. Originally, when Vault of Horror came out, they censored it in the fact that they would, like, at the end of the film, each segment of the film, rather than show you like the uncut like ending of the film, they would like freeze frame the ending. So you get to see it uncut here. Tales from the Crypt is a great one. Joan Collins, like a really like good role for Joan Collins. Like I think it's All Through the House, kind of like the Killer Santa one. Peter Cushing in here breaks your heart. Is this just kind old man who lives next door to a heartless bastard who does everything to destroy his life and succeeds. But Denholm Elliott we got here as well. Tom Baker's in Vault of Horror. Michael Craig, Kurt Jurgens, fantastic films. Everybody needs to own the Tales from the Crypt films. You want fun? Yeah, me too. Actually, I remember getting that one and being like, "What the hell?" Tentacles and Reptilicus. They're just like fun, cheesy monster movies. I enjoy them. They're not ones where you've got to run out and get this, but I enjoyed it. I like monster movies. Next up is TerrorVision and The Video Dead. This was an early double feature that they did, and they really worked hard on it. At this point, they were putting in the work into the double features the same way that they were doing the regular releases. I got a Midnight Movies collection. I'll show you sometimes, Oz, actually. A small one, probably much smaller than yours, though. Because when you look at the features on these two releases here. Oh, you watched the Godzilla films. Did you got set like me? So look at the features here on these films. This is the double feature. If you buy any of the newer like Scream Factory double features, you're not going to see this amount of work feature-wise put into any of them. But right here they did. I mean, there's audio commentary with the director and actors on here and TerrorVision. There's a new retrospective on the film here. The Video Dead even has like has two audio commentaries on it as well, an interview with the makeup guy. Yep, that's Mayor Warnoff. Mayor Warnoff's in it. John Greaves would later go on to be in The Pretender, and of course he was the werewolf in Friday Night Part Two. He's in this movie as well. He plays kind of like the kind of the punk dude. Oh, you gotta watch Video Day. It's cheesy, Michelle. It's cheesy and low budget, but definitely worth the watch. But yeah, and TerraVision has a great soundtrack as well. Next up is The House Where Evil Dwells and Ghost Whisperer. Ghost Whisperer, yeah. And that show, I know. Ghost Warrior. Again, I like haunted things. I like The House Where Evil Dwells. I remember that one. That's the samurai one. Actually, these are both samurai films, to be honest with you. But there's kind of like a tragic love story in The House Where Evil Dwells. That kind of, they come back and they sort of like what's the word? It's like kind of relive like this tragedy that happened before with these ghosts. Ghosts were both of these I think were really fun films, and definitely worth recommending. Troll and Troll 2, and of course this is the edition. Oh, my stickers going with the best worst movies on it. Best worst movie. So if you can get this one, you'll also get like the DVD of best worst movie. So strongly recommend Troll and Troll 2. Troll actually, although they talk about like, oh, Troll is the 2 is the worst movie. Well, Tom, Troll actually isn't a bad movie. Of course, like I mentioned before, X-Ray and Skid Side, which got out of just Troll 2 and the greatest cinema achievement. Here's one that should have been in the Scream Factory releases, and that is Q, the Winged Serpent. It's a Larry Cohen film. It's originally supposed to be a Scream Factory release. They mislabeled it, I think, as a Shout Factory release. But I love this movie. And great special effects. And although, is this a Scream Factory release? No. Although this one's just a Shout release, it's one that I think was going out of print, and that is Hackers. And I love the movie Hackers. So, well, a lot of sequels have nothing to do with the first one. There's a reason, though. It's done by an Italian company and has no trolls in it. From here on, I can either end the video here, and later on tonight, or maybe tomorrow, I can make a video with the collector's editions. Or I can continue this. And we can do collector's editions, but this video may take a little bit longer. So, choose your own adventure. House of Jack Bill, that probably is just a Scream Factory release, so that's coming up by Scream. I didn't know they're putting it out, though. But I think you're right. I think I've heard that somewhere. That mishap just made my decision for me. Wish me luck. I am Aaron. I'm a klutz. You got to see it live on camera, so congratulations. You're the call to cinema. You guys rock. I will see you guys here either later on tonight or tomorrow, where we will do the second part of my Scream Factory, the collector's editions, and the box sets. Have a great evening. Oh, guys, I got a mess to clean up. I hope none of my cases broke, Craig. See you later.